How are you going to pass this real estate exam? You're going to do it by practicing lots and lots of questions over and over until you get a 100 score, and of course, do your vocabulary. So today we're continuing with real estate questions for national and Texas state. Towards the end of the session, we do the Texas. So the first half or 3/4 applies to all 50 states. Anyone watching the replay, this class is designed to students participate as they attend and type in the answer. So on the replay, hey, you can fast forward in between questions. All right, and we're continuing with the same book, a Texas real estate book by the Metling family. So it is called the Texas Real Estate License Exam Prep, All-in-One Review and Testing to Pass Texas by Pearson VUE Real Estate Exam by Stephen Metling. So the national is the same for all 50 states. And the big difference is the state section. This author does books for 26 different states. And since I am in Texas, this is Lillie Hendy with eXp Realty and who is it? YouTube AgentPrep out of San Antonio, Texas. Good morning. Good afternoon, Cindy. Yeah, it's not good morning. It's been an interesting day. Went to an inspection, drop off the earnest money, and back to do this. All right. So we're starting out with 1016, and this section has to do with real estate math. This is test number 10, which is real estate math. Okay, so do your best to calculate the math or take a guess, and we'll review it. Lee had to report his home office depreciation for the tax year. He has 2,500 square feet home and a 500 square foot office area. So you see how they call it square feet, right? Because the house is typically rectangular or square, and it goes by square footage. And it could be L-shaped, different things. Lee paid $280,000 for his home, and he figures the land portion carries about 25% of that value. If Lee depreciates on a 39-year basis, how much can he write off for his home office depreciation per year? So is it A, 1,077, B, 1,436, C, 5,384, and D, 2,108, 2,108. Okay, so it's valued at 280,000. And he depreciates. Lee had to report his home office depreciation. Come on, y'all, get off this darn site. Go scam on your own website. So everybody disregard, okay, those silly texts, those silly comments are probably bots, robots. He had to report his home office depreciation for the tax year. And so we can write off, okay, a portion of our house that we use for our office. 2,500 square foot home, 500 is applied towards his office. He paid $280,000 for the home and figures the land portion carries about 25% of that value. So if he depreciates on a 39-year basis, how much can he write off for the home office depreciation per year? So one, we've got to figure out, right, the per year. So we've got 280,000 and 25% of that is land. So land does not depreciate. We don't take a depreciation tax shelter on land. What you have to do first. So we're going to subtract 25% of 280 from that. So multiply 280 times 0.75, right? 75%. So what does that give us? So if you divide 280 by 4, you get 70 times 3 is 21,000, right? So I break it down in small pieces. So if you divide by 4, it's equivalent to 7,000. 7 times 4 is 28, right? So 7 times 3, that's equivalent to 75%, will be 21,000. So that is the value that can be depreciated. And he's depreciating only on 500 square feet of the 2,500 square foot home. So first we need to know, what would be the total depreciation per year? So we have 39 years. So you divide this, right, by 39 years. And what do you come up with? Anyone? So 39 years, okay, would be 5,381. I'm sorry, 84 and 61 cents. So then his office is what percentage of 2,100? So 5 goes into 25 5 times, right? Minus 500 leaves us 2,000. So that is what? So his office is 20%, okay, of the 2,500, right? Because you have 500s in 2,500. So it's equivalent to 20%. So therefore, Lee can take an annual depreciation. So this is the total potential depreciation, right, for 39 years. Well, we don't depreciate the whole home because the primary residence. So we're depreciating 20% times of that times, I wanted to use a different color here, times 20. Okay, because the house is 2,500 and only, so minus 500, right? So no, not minus. So 500 into 2,500, that's going to give us 20%. Okay, so if you have a pie, you divide it in 5 pieces equally. Okay, so that doesn't work either. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us 6. Okay, pie doesn't work that way. There is a way to do just 5, but I didn't do it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, I did. Okay, so you're doing 1/5 of the home. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you get the picture. I can't seem to draw it right. So you multiply the 5,384 and 61, more than likely you can round it off to what? 5,385, because this is 61, so you round up. So 20% times the whole amount of depreciation that could be done on a house based on 39 years is that. So when you multiply by 20%, what do you get? So 5,384. Yes, right? 5,384 times 20% gives us what? 1,076.92 equivalent to 1,077. That is how much he can depreciate per year for the office. So the answer is A. Very good, Carlos. How you doing? So there's a whole bunch of you here, but I can't greet you since I don't know who is here. Hold on, I've got to type the answer on Facebook. My internet is messing with me. Yeah, it's slow. Okay. The answer is 1,077. Okay. So did you all get that? So you have a 2,500 square foot home, and that is 1/5. 500 is 1/5, right? Which is 20%. So it's 20% times 2,500 gives us 500. 280,000, we must subtract 25% value for the land. Okay, and then divide it by 39 years to get what the per year amount could be, and then multiply it by the 20%. Okay, so number 17. Yes, 84. I typed it because you said it. Lots of left. Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, so the answer was 10.16. Okay. So 77. Gosh, my internet, sorry guys, the internet is responding slowly. So it's not, could be the weather. Usually when we have, rain or clouds, it'll impact the internet speed. Okay, so there it is. All right, number 17. A property is being appraised by the cost approach. Okay, remember there's 3 different types of approaches. So this is a cost approach. The appraiser estimates that the land is worth $40,000 and the replacement cost of the improvements is $175,000. Total depreciation from all causes is $27,000. What is the indicated value of the property? Okay, so the land is worth $40,000. Okay, so that we don't depreciate the land. And the replacement value of the improvements is $175,000. So what would you do first in order to either A, $148,000, B, $228,000, C, $162,000, or D, $188,000? So what is the indicated value? Total depreciation from all causes is $27,000. So remember that the cost approach, I keep smelling smoke, right? And it's got to be the fireplaces around here. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is burning? Nothing's burning, it's firewood. So we have total of 175. Oops. right? That is the cost of improvement. So it is the formula for cost approach, okay, is land, because land doesn't depreciate, right? Plus cost of improvements. So I'm going to abbreviate improvements plus, God, you see how there's a delay here, plus any capital additions So I'm going to abbreviate additions to just say add capital additions minus depreciation. So I'll abbreviate that also. Okay, so land plus cost of improvement plus capital additions minus depreciation equals, so that equals the value. Okay, equals all that. So our land is what? 40,000. Gosh, you see, hate it. I shouldn't say hate. I dislike it. So the land is what? 40,000. Right? Okay, 40,000. The cost of improvement, okay, plus cost of improvement is what? 175K. Okay, and then minus, there's no capital additions, minus depreciation, which is 27,000. Okay, so I didn't put it in parentheses, right? Because we're not multiplying. So it's just land, okay, plus 175K minus 27K depreciation. So that would be the value of it. Right? So what is that? So 175 minus 27, that gives us what? 142, right? Plus 40 equals, I think the answer is 188. So where did I go wrong? Oh, this is an 8. 7 from 15 is 8, right? 148. So that totals to 188. Okay. So because they're looking for the value. So of course we have to add the value to the improvements and then subtract the depreciation. So the land is 40, the improvements is 175 minus the depreciation gives us what the value of property is, which is D, 108. So y'all answered A. I forgot to add the land. A is 148. Okay, so that is just the 175 minus 27. Okay, but they want to, so, okay, they in order to go for the cost approach, when you're doing comparables or appraising, you've got to add the land. Okay, they were not depreciating it. So we subtracted the depreciation because of whatever the improvements, okay, the insurance company is also, going to do that. So the appraiser, they're comparing to other properties, right? So the other properties have a land value of 40 and a cost of replacement of 175. However, those homes have depreciated 27,000. So total depreciation from all causes. So then here you've got to, they want to know the value. So you've got to add the land. You follow? We weren't depreciating the property. We're doing a cost approach comparable. So when we don't have property to compare to, like a CMA or an income property, then we have to take the cost of material plus the land plus what the other properties have depreciated. So that is 1017D. 88,000. Okay, gotta make sure that's correct. Yes, the answer is D, 188,000. You answered A and B. So so what you did was, how did you get 228, Cindy? 175 plus 40, if you added those two, would be 115 plus 115 plus 27. So not sure how you got 228. So the answer is 140 plus 75 minus 20. Get that? Okay, number 18. Okay, didn't say or nay, so I hope you got that calculation. All right, 18. An apartment owner paid $100,000 for her complex 5 years ago. 5 years ago. An appraiser at that time valued the land at $100,000, but land had appreciated 25% over this period. So in 5 years, the land appreciated 25%. Okay, so at that time, the appraiser at the time valued the land $100,000, but the land appreciated 25%. Okay, so it's 1.25%, right, over the 5 years. So it appreciated what, 5% each year. The investor has used a 40-year straight line depreciation method to depreciate the property. What is its current value using the cost approach? So it's similar to the prior question, just different numbers. So is it 437.5, B 462.5, C 475.100, or D 546.875? So they didn't say that the, let's see, an apartment owner paid $500,000 for her complex 5 years ago. An appraiser at that time valued the land at $100,000, but land has appreciated $25,000 over that period. Didn't say that that the property, the improvement appreciated, right? They only said the land appreciated. So again, we have the calculation, land equals land equals, okay, the value equals land plus cost of improvement plus any capital additions minus depreciation, right? So value land plus cost of improvement plus capital additions minus depreciation. So we're looking for value. The land, okay, so it appreciated 25% in 5 years. So what would the new value be? So what is 5% or 25% of 100,000? So 100,000, okay, times 0.25 gives us 25,000, right? Or you can multiply by 1.25. So it would be 100K plus 25K equals 120. So that's the value of the land. Oops. Okay. So we've got, again, value. Come on, internet. Equals land, 125. That's with 5 years of appreciation. Okay, and it appreciated 25%, right? So 5% each year. So that is 125,000. Now the investor has, so then the original value, the basis was 500,000. Right? Minus the land, because we don't depreciate the land. So 500,000 minus 100, that was the original value, gives us 400,000, right? So we have to start out with the basis. Gosh, come on, internet. It keeps refreshing, okay? Minus 100K gives us 400K. So what did I do? I took the whole property, improvements plus land. So I subtracted the land of 100,000, not 125,000, because that's the appreciated value. We're taking the basis. This is the basis. Okay. So we have 400,000 because we only depreciate the improvements, right? So divide that. And how many years did they do the depreciation? 40 years straight line depreciation method. So divide by 40, right? So we get rid of 1 0 there. And we had another 0 here. Get rid of 1 0 there. So what? It's 40K. I'm sorry. 4 into 4 is 1, Lily. So it's 10K per year. So 400,000 divided by 40 years. So this was by 40 years. Okay, for the depreciation. This was money. So it's 10,000 per year. Okay, you just bring the units across. So that's the depreciation. So now they're saying, what is its current value using the cost approach? They didn't have any additions or anything. So let's see. So that was 5 years ago. So you need to depreciate it 5 years. So it depreciates 10 years, right? So 10,000 times 5 years equals 50,000. So that's the depreciation value. So now we can calculate what is the current value using the cost approach. Okay, right there, cost approach. What is the current value? So based on that, can anybody answer this? So you would have, right, 10,000 times 5, so it's 400,000, right, minus 50,000. So value equals the land, 125K, that's thousands, plus 350, that's the improvements, right? We depreciated it. So it's 400,000 minus 50,000 gives us 350. So that's plus minus the depreciation, right? And the depreciation was, so we already took the appreciation of that and the depreciation. So what does that give us? $475,000, right? Okay, it's not working right here. So let's see, Carlos said A. How did you come up with A? So it's 75,000, okay? So if I had done it the way we did the other one, okay, it would be 125. That's the appreciated land, 5 years. Then plus 400,000, which was the basis value of the improvements, minus the depreciation. Oh, come on. Come on, come on. Okay, and that's what gives us 475. So the answer is C. Okay, 475. Guys, I think I have, dang, there's too much smoke coming in here. Sorry about that, but my eyes are starting to burn. I think my neighbor downstairs is grilling and the smoke is coming up into my condo. It's not the firewood. So did you get that, Carlos? And everyone else watching? So cost approach, land, okay, if it has any appreciation, a house minus the comparables depreciation, or minus the depreciation of this particular home, equals the value. So it takes practice. You can repeat the same question, over and over so that you understand the formula. Okay, value equals land plus the improvements the original improvements plus any additional improvements minus depreciation. Unless they tell you like that one, that the land appreciated. They didn't say the improvements appreciated because they usually depreciate, right? 27.5 years. If it's an investment on a personal property, we can say they depreciated it here by 40 years. A straight line, 40-year line depreciation for calculation purposes. All right, number 19. Okay, so you got it. Very good. An apartment building that recently sold for $400,000 has monthly gross rent receipts of $3,200. What is its monthly gross rent multiplier? 80, 0.01, 110, or 125. So monthly gross rent receipts. So it sold for $400,000 and monthly gross rent receipts of $3,200. What is its monthly gross rent multiplier? So, oops, sorry. So time for calculation. So gross rent multiplier GRM, okay, equals price okay, patience until the internet, okay, price divided by monthly rent. Okay, so what is the price? The price is $400,000. The gross rent, so that's before any expenses, okay? They didn't say include expenses, okay? So we're just going to continue there. I already forgot what the, okay, 400,000 is the price. Okay, divided by the monthly rent, which is what, 3,200? Since you have $sign there, $sign here, the $sign is going to go away. Cancel out 0 there, cancel out 0 there, and you've got 32 into 4,000. So gross rent multiplier Jeez. So how many times does 32 go into 4,000? $125. Okay, so 3 times 5. So then that'll be right there. Just 3 times 125 is 375, right? And then plus 175. So that the answer is 125. That is the gross rent multiplier. The gross rent multiplier is a number, okay, not a percentage. So you're going to have a large number at top, a small number on the bottom, right? Because I got rid of that. So if you reduce it even more, divide by 8, right? You can say, okay, well, 8 goes into 32 4 times, right? 8 goes into that. right? 500 times. Okay. So I'm reducing it like they say on calculations. Divide by 8, that's a 4. Divide by 8. So that's 8 goes into 45 times. 500, 500. 500 divided by 4 gives us 125. Okay. So you don't have to divide 4,000 divided by 32 to reduce the problem, reduce the numbers if they're equivalent, reducible by the same number, and they both are reducible by 8. So it's easier to divide 500 divided by 4, right? We get 125. So that is the GRM, gross rent multiplier. That's price divided by the gross rent. So the answer is D. Did anybody calculate it? Or did you guess? All right, number 20. Gee, I was trying to, there we go. All right, number 20. No questions? No questions. Nobody calculated it? Well, Cindy got D. So hopefully you understood that one. If you're not familiar with them, go back and review the math equation, gross rent multiplier. So it's value divided by monthly rent, gross monthly rent. You know, that's why it said gross. Not that it's gross, ugly, but it's monthly gross rent. Okay, 20. A rental home has monthly gross income of 1,100. A suitable gross income multiplier derived from market data is 14.7. What estimated sell price to the nearest 1,000 is indicated? So the other one was gross rent multiplier. This one is gross income multiplier. So gross income versus gross rent. So gross rent is usually, how do we get rent? By month. And income, how is it usually calculated for tax purposes? By year, right? Or when investors are buying it. So we've got the rent multiplier, gross income multiplier, GIM, is equivalent to value, right? Divided by the price is value by annual income. So instead of price and monthly rent, okay, instead of this formula here, it's going to be gross income multiplier, GIM. Again, it's price divided by the annual income. Gross income multiplier. Okay, come on, internet. Okay, so that is income there. So again, that is price divided by income. Okay, which in this case is, it says we have the gross income multiplier and we have gross income of $1,000. I mean, $1,000, 1,100, right? So we have 14.7 equals price divided by 1,100, right? But the 1,100, okay, it is monthly income. Okay, a rental home has monthly gross income of 1,100, and the rent income multiplier is per year. So that is times 12. So you've got 14.7 equals price divided by, what's 110 times 12? 13,200. That is the annual income. This is monthly, okay? This value is monthly, multiplied by 12 to get the annual income or year income, okay? So we've got 14.7 times 13,000. Okay, that is 13,200. Gosh. Equals the price. So what is the price? 14.7 times 13,200. We only have one unit, so the price is going to have a dollar sign and will be how much? Yeah, so I'm having issues, okay, with it, Cindy. So I don't know if anybody else is. So a lot of times it's caused by the weather, by clouds. So 14.7 times 13,200. It's going to give us 194,000. So that is the estimated sales price. And it's set to round it off to the nearest 1,000, right? So it came out to $194,040. So because it's less than a 5, then you down, you don't round off up, we round off down, okay? Because it was $194,040. So the answer there is C. Equals C. So is anyone else having issues with internet? Because I certainly am. Yes, Cindy was asking if anybody else has. Aha, Carlos, you changed your answer. Okay. So difference between gross rent multiplier is because we deal with monthly rent versus gross income multiplier is income for the whole year. Similar formula, okay, price over income, but one is monthly rent and the other one is annual income. So GRM, gross rent multiplier, monthly income. Okay, you're dividing by monthly income. Yeah, my internet is just, yeah. I would sometimes have a tendency to forget that, the difference between the two. But it makes sense when you think of, gross rent, we pay rent monthly. right? Not for the whole year. I mean, some might pay 6 months at a time. And when we think of income, what is our yearly income? What is the yearly income from the rental? Okay, so that's kind of how to translate it in your mind. Okay, 1021. Amy obtains a 75% loan to value, LTV, loan to value on her new $200,000 home with an annual interest of 6%. What is the first month's interest payment? Okay, 75% loan to value on her new home of $200,000. So how much is the loan? And it has a 6% interest rate. So what is the monthly interest payment? A, 900, B, 250, C, 1,000, or D, 750. So what would you do first? So somebody type in the chat, or everyone, what's the first calculation you've got to do? When you have 75% loan to value, what is the value? 7,500. I'm sorry, 200,000. What is the loan amount? 75% of the home value. Right, loan to value. So you multiply what? 75% of 200,000. So if you divide it by 4 and then take 3, so 200,000 divided by 4 is what? 50,000, right? Times 3 would be 75%. That would be 150,000. So that's the loan amount. Times 6%. Right. So first you multiply the 75% times 200,000. Yes. And then multiply by the interest. But then it asks, what is the first month versus annual interest payment? So we have 200,000. Okay. The way I do it in my mind, so you have 4 quarters in 100, right? 25, 50, 75, 100, right? And the loan is 75,000. So 25% of 200,000, right, is 50,000, right? 25 times 2, 50,000. 50,000 from 200,000, okay, gives us, so it would be, you know, this would be doing it the calculation way, right? So you would get 150K. However, the way my mind works is I say, okay, I've got 200,000, divide that by 4, I get 50,000, multiply it by 3. Okay, so I get 50,000. So I don't have to use big numbers, times 3. That would be 3 quarters, right? Gives me the same value, 150,000. It's easier to calculate in my mind, or if I do it by paper. Okay, so it's 150,000, and the interest rate is 6%. So you have 150K just has slow reaction. Okay, 150K times 0.06, looks like a 6, right? Times 0.06 is what? So what's 6 times 15? So 6 times 15 is 30, right? 6 times 1, so it's like 900. Okay, or is it 9,000? Okay, and then you have to divide that by 12 because they want the monthly amount. Okay, so it was 6% of 150,000 is 9,000. Divide that by 12 and we get 750. So I don't have a calculator. So another way to calculate it in your mind, if you have to. So we've got 150,000 times 0.06, right? And I said it was 9,000, right? Because I look at the 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 plus 3 is 9, right? So you have 9 and then 3 zeros, okay, because you have the thousands. And then divide that by 12 months. So if you divide by 10 months, it would be 900. So it's actually 12 months. So that means it's got to be less than A. It's going to be greater than B. But if I divide by 10, okay, so 10 is easier to divide than 12. So I divide by 10, okay, that gives me 900 a month, right, out of the 9,000. So I said if I were to add two more payments, okay, that would get me 750, right? So I'm sorry, 900 a month is if it was 10 months. So it's going to have to be less than 900 because it is 12 months instead of 10 months. Yeah, 9,000, right. So 150,000 times 0.06, 6% is 9,000 divided by 12. So you're wondering, why are you dividing by 10? Because that gives me really quick. Okay, if it was 10 months, it's 900. Okay, so I know it's going to be less than 900 because it's actually 12 months. So then I go, okay, the answer is 750. You follow me? Why I did it that way? Easier to calculate 10 months than 12. Even though you're going to have a calculator, so they're going to let you use a calculator. If that's how I break it up in my mind. However, there's a tendency to make mistakes when we, do everything in our mind. So, I have a piece of paper, I would do it on paper, which I was doing it there, on paper. I'm looking at it. So pencil and paper is the best way to do math when you don't have a calculator. So nobody answered that. So most people don't like math, which I understand. So what I say is I love math. I love math. I love math. So that your mind listens to what you say and it encourages you to practice it. All right, number 22. Emily has an interest-only home equity loan at an annual interest rate of 5.3%. So interest only. So, and the problem before, you realize we didn't have to worry about principal and interest, right? So basically it was an interest-only loan. Okay, they didn't give us anything else, okay? So it says if her monthly payment is 790, how much is the loan's principal balance to the nearest 1,000? So she's got a home equity loan of interest only. So you don't have to worry about principal and interest. It asks you for the principal loan balance, not what is the principal portion and what is the interest portion. When it's interest only, so basically it's the percentage times the loan amount. Here they give us what the monthly payment is, and they tell us what the interest rate is. Okay, interest is considered annual. So remember, monthly payment, okay, is monthly. The payment is monthly. So what is the loan's principal balance? Round it off to the nearest 1,000. So I keep pointing out that is annual and monthly, because you're going to have to do some conversion or some multiplication or division, right? So anybody going to try this one before I do it? So number 22, right? So you have the equation for the loan amount is annual interest, okay, which is 5.3. Okay, and we're going to convert it to a decimal, right? 5.3, that's 5.3%. Okay, so that, so the annual total interest, so the total annual interest, okay, is going to be what? 790 times 12, right? Because it says we have 790 monthly. Okay, her monthly payment is 790. So we've got to multiply that by 12, right? In order to get annual interest divided by the interest rate. Okay, so we have the loan amount, which will be, that's what we're looking for, right? So we have 790 payment, monthly payment times 12 payments. So what does that equal? So 800 times 12 is like almost 960. Right? Okay, so you all calculated B. Round it off. Yes, it would come out to B, right? So the answer is B. It actually ends up being 178, 868. And we round up, right? Why? Because this is greater than 500. So we round up. So the squiggly line means round off. Okay, so it was the, so the equation for the loan amount is the annual interest divided by the interest rate, because it's an interest only loan, right? So all this 790, that's interest. So that 790 interest per month times 12 months divided by the interest rate gives us 178, 868, and round it off to 179. So very good. So are those hard or are they okay? Nobody says anything. Okay. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. Not really. I'm talking to you, right? However, nobody's replying. Okay, 23. The loan officer at 6th Fourth Bank tells Amanda she can afford a monthly payment of $1,000 on her new home loan. On her new home loan. Assuming this is an interest only, again, interest only loan, and the principal balance is $249,000. What interest rate is Amanda getting? So now we're doing it a little bit different, right? Here we had the interest rate and we had the monthly rent. So we have to, the monthly interest payment. So we had to divide, multiply by 12, right? And this one, we have the monthly payment and the value of the loan, of the principal balance, pardon me. And we have to come up with what the interest rate is. So you have to remember formulas. Yes, you do. Yes, ma'am. So this section is real estate math, right? And so this is like finance. I mean, there is also a finance section, a finance chapter. So again, we had what? Annual payment divided by interest. Okay, so so we know the principal amount is 249,000. The monthly payment is 1,000. So how much is the yearly payment? 12,000, right? So that's 1,000 times 12, because 1,000 is the interest payment for 1 month, and we've got to multiply by 12 months. Then, right, we divide it by 249,000. Right? So we actually get rid of 3 zeros. Don't, come on. So this is actually 12,000. Okay. So you're dividing 12 divided by 249, right? Because these go away, these go away. So you got smaller numbers to divide. So since you have a small number on top, a large number on the bottom, this is going to end up being a smaller number, a percentage. So you could say, how many times does 25, I'm rounding it off, right? 249, I'm saying 250 into 12. Because you can't reduce it here because you don't have a, if we rounded it off to 250, we could divide by 2 and we have 6 there. Divide by 2 and we would have 1250, a smaller number to divide, even though, you know, so I rounded it off, okay? So what would it be? Anybody? Yes, 4.82%. Right? So it would be, you know, 12 divided by 249. I just rounded it off, made it a little easier. Okay. So 6 divided by 12 and a half or something like that gives us 4.82. You're probably wondering, what the heck are you doing? Okay, so that was the answer there. This is terrible. Okay, so the answer is 1023A. Okay, very good. So you calculated A. So Carlos says you have to remember formulas. Yes, memorize them. Okay. All right, number 24. Dang. 24. The Keegans obtain a fixed rate amortized 30-year loan for $280,000 at 6.25% interest. If the monthly payments are for $1,724, how much interest do the Keegans pay in the second month of the loan? Okay, so 30 years amortized, and it's at $280,000 at 6.25 interest. And the monthly payment is $724. Okay, oh, where's my drawing board? So I wonder if I do it this way and shorten it down so we can see the problem. You can still see it? Yeah, okay. So you've got 280,000 times an interest rate of 0.0625. Okay, remember you move your decimals back 2 places. 1, 2 equals. So you can calculate that or say, hey, well, I've got to find out what it is monthly, right? So I have to divide by 12 because this is yearly. Okay, the annual interest amount that you'll calculate when I did equal. So you can get the answer here, okay, and then divide by 12 or just type the formula this way. Okay, so what do you get? So this is when it's straight interest. Okay, so it is a fixed rate amortized for 30 years. So a loan that's amortized for 30 years is going to include principal and interest. So when we calculate 280,000 times 6.25 and divide by 12, we're getting the principal, we're getting the interest amount only. Okay, so that interest amount ends up being what? $1,458. So that is the interest amount. And they're saying the monthly payment is $1,724. So the monthly payment is principal and interest. So we've got $1,724, right? Make sure I'm using the right number, minus $1,458. Right? Because this is the monthly payment here. This here is PI minus I gives us the monthly principal amount. Okay. So the principal amount, when you subtract 1724 principal and interest minus the interest amount, gives us what? 1,458, right? I'm sorry, 1,456. So now they must pay 6.25 interest on the new principal balance of 200 and so they want to know if the monthly payments are 1,724, how much interest do the Keegans pay in the second month of the loan? So each month, okay, the interest amount is changing because the principal amount keeps changing also. So they have left, so they paid down, so what was that? 200, so what was this? $266. That was the principal amount, right? So look at how much goes through interest with a 6.25% interest. Okay. So that was what they're paying on that first month with $266 of interest. Now they must pay 6.25 interest on the new principal. So subtract 266 from the loan amount of 280 and gives us what? So we calculated what the principal is on the first month. So now we have 280, right? Minus 200 and you can tell I'm flustered. Minus 266. Okay, gives us what? So this has multiple calculations, okay? So now the principal balance for the second month is $279,734. So now we're multiplying that again by 6.25. Because it says, how much interest do the Keegans pay in the second month of the loan? Okay, so 279 again. What was the amount? 279,734 times 0.066. Come on. 625. So again, we're getting the principal and interest. Okay, and then that you're dividing again by 12. So how much is the interest amount on the second month? So that equals 156 and 95. Okay, so that answer there on the second month, the interest is $1,456 and 95 cents. So on the first month, it was $1,458, right? That was the interest amount. This was the interest amount the first month. So we only paid 266 of principal. So then to find out what the second month is, we have to subtract that principal from the loan amount of 280. Okay, so that's what I did here. 280 minus 266 gives us the new principal amount on the second month. And again, multiply that by 0.0625 divided by 12. So we get what the second month interest is. And so then this would happen every single month. And the interest amount would be reducing a little bit every month. And the interest and the principal payment will then start increasing every month. And that starts decreasing the principal loan amount. Okay, so you always have to keep in mind, okay, principal interest is for the whole year, so you've got to divide by 12. Oops. So the answer is B, 1024B. Can you imagine if you're calculating this in the exam? You almost have to take a guess. Now, with a calculator, okay, you'll be able to do it quickly because it does allow you to use percentages. Okay, so let's see what what Cindy asked here. So Cindy asked, with a fixed mortgage, with a fixed amortized loan, doesn't the loan payment stay the same? No, the loan principal balance starts reducing every month. The monthly payment stays the same. Okay, so the monthly payment, if your payment is $1,724, okay, that's the monthly payment. That stays the same. But the amount that goes to interest and the amount that goes to principal changes every month. At the beginning, the interest is high and the principal is low when you have an interest rate of 6.25. Right now, the interest rates are like 6.75 up to 7.25. Okay, so the loan amount, the loan monthly payment stays the same. The loan balance starts changing every month, starts reducing. The first month, it only reduced $266. The next month, it's going to reduce maybe $268, okay, or something like that. Because at first, it was $1,458 was the interest and 33 cents. And the second month was $1,456. So you see the first month, where's the interest? Was $1,458, right? That was the interest the first month. When we multiplied the loan amount times 0.0625 and divided by 12, we got an interest payment. This is equals to interest. This is only the interest, okay? So we have to subtract the interest portion of the PI, principal and interest, which is $1,724. We had to subtract. So the principal and the interest amount, okay, is different every month. The monthly payment stays the same. If taxes and insurance are included, so you have PITI, P-I-T-I, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, that will change every year because taxes may go up, insurance may go up. The principal and interest payment stays the same, which is $1,724 plus taxes and insurance. So taxes and insurance cause the monthly payment to change. However, the principal and interest portion do not. Just one goes up and the other one goes down. Okay, so with months and months, the principal, the amount for interest starts going lower and principal starts going up until the majority becomes principal and you start paying the loan off. But that happens, you know, quite a few years after. And then less and less interest, okay, and more principal until the loan is paid off. But the monthly payment does not change. Just you separate principal, how much goes to principal, how much goes to interest. Okay. The loan amount starts to reduce, but you see it only reduced by $266 the first time. Okay. And the second time, about 268. Okay. So the principal amount grew better. So it starts reducing the principal, the loan balance, okay, which is called the principal amount of the whole loan. Like, what's your principal balance? What is your loan balance? Not on the monthly, but for the whole loan. Okay, so you got it. Very good. So yes, the loan payment, the loan changes, the loan payment stays the same. Yeah, the loan, you're right. The loan payment, I was thinking the loan amount, okay. The loan payment stays the same, but the principal and interest change. Okay. I was thinking you said, oh, so the loan payment changes. No, the loan payment does not change. Okay, that's on a 30-year fixed or a 20-year fixed, or sometimes there's 40-year fixed. Okay. 25. A lender offers the Grace 2 alternative loan packages for their $60,000 home equity application. Okay, this is equity loan. One option is an interest-only loan for 5 years at 6.5% with no points, 0 points. And the second choice is a 6.25 interest-only loan for 5 years with 1 point to be paid at closing. So that is called the prepaid. It has to be paid at close. Which loan will cost the Grace less total interest and by how much? So you've got 5 years times 6.25, right? And 5 years times 6.25. However, it costs 1 extra point. So A, the first option by 100. So it says which loan will cost the Grace less total interest and by how? So you have to calculate what's the interest on both, get the difference. And so we're looking for the difference of the two options. So option A is 150. Option B, the second option, is 150. C, the second option, by 750. D, both options charge the same amount of interest. Okay, so you've got 7.25, however, 1 point. The loan amount is 60,000. So what is 1 point of 60,000? That's 1%, right? So the first option doesn't have any points and it's a higher interest rate. The second option, they're buying down the loan by paying 1 point in advance at closing. 1 point of 60,000, right? It's 1%. So it's what, like 600? Get rid of 2 zeros, 0.01. Because 10% would be 6,000, right? So it's 1%. So it's 600. So can anybody calculate this? So 6.5 times 60,000 and 6.25 times 60,000. So what does that get you? So you've got 60,000 times 0.065. Okay. And then we also have 60,000 times 0.0625. Didn't. Oh, come on, internet. Okay, so remember that's the decimal there. Okay, so what are those two values? And it's for, let's see, it says one option is a interest loan for 5 years. Okay, so you calculate that and then you multiply by 5, right? I forgot about the 1%. Aha, yeah. Okay, so the answer here, right, times 5, because it's for 5 years, right? So I'm not calculating it. So 6.5, that would be, so this one would be, what would it be here? This would be 19,500 times 5 years. Okay, what is that? So you've got 0, 0, 25, 45, 47. So what is it, 97? Did I calculate that right? No, it's 19,000. Oh, I already had 19,000 times 5. Oh, 19,500. That's already times 5. Pardon me. Okay. And then what's the second one? The second option. The second option is 6.25 times 60,000. Okay. Times 5 years. I was trying to do one step at a time. So 60,000 times 0.0625 times 5. Right, that equals 19,350. And it's not letting me draw. Okay, what did I say, 350? So the second option, right, is $150 cheaper as far as interest. And so they paid 1 point in advance in order to get 0.25% lower. Okay, which saves them $150 each month. So let me see. It says, which loan will cost the Grace less total interest and by how? The second option, right? The second option by $150. So in the long run, they're going to save money, but they're having to pay $600 up front. But if you look at, so that's $150 a month that they're saving, and for 5 years. So if you take 150 times 12 months, multiply that times 5 years. Okay, is it worth paying $600 to bring the interest rate down 0.25%? Yes, right, because you've got 150 per month that they're saving times 12. So if we do times 10, it's 1,500 plus 300. That's 1,800 a month interest that they're paying in 1 year. Okay, times 5 years. $40. Come on. That'll be like 9,000. Okay, 1,800 times 5 years will be like 9,000. So it was worth it to pay $600 up front, which was 1% point on that loan. Okay, in order to save $9,000. The difference between 19,350 and 19,500. Okay, that's how much they save, 9,000 in 5 years. If I calculated it right, okay? 150 times 12, that's how much they save per year, 1,800. Wow. Okay, so did I type the answer? No, the answer is B. The second option, okay, they pay less interest by $150. Okay, so the first option interest was 19,500. The second option was 19,350. Okay. So the second option at 6.25 was $150 less than the first option. This is one option. This is option 2. So the difference between these two, that's $150. So with the second option, they save $150, even though it cost them $600 in advance for the 1 point. Okay. Did I lose you all? Hopefully not, but I may have. You have to multiply by both. So you didn't need the 1 point, but what I was calculating was how much it's going to save them by saving $150 a month every month for 12 months, then times 5 years. Okay. And so if you notice what I did, 150 per month times 10 is 1,500. And then 2 more months, 150 times 2 is 300. So 1,500 plus 300 is 1,800. That's how much interest they're paying in 1 year, $1,800. So times 5 years, that's 9,000. That's can be expensive money. So can you imagine when we pay 20% on credit cards and you have them for a long time? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. So it's best to get a home equity loan or to get a what they call a signature loan and consolidate your debts and pay a lower interest rate. Okay, number 26. What problem did we start on? 16. Okay, we're going to stop on 25. Math problems take a little longer. We've been at this 1 hour and 39 minutes. Okay, so we did 10 math problems, okay, in an hour and a half. So we're going to then shift into Texas state questions. And the Texas state questions have to do with agency and brokerage relationships. So this section here, this test number 10, had to do with real estate math. So we're starting with, let's see, 1416 here. I don't know what happened to my bookmark. Something's happening. Something happened to everything I had saved. So I've got to look at my notes. What page are we on? 214. Usually I have the bookmarks over here and I save them. I don't recall deleting them. So there's some fishy stuff going on. Okay, we're starting with 1416. All right, and this section has to do with on the state agency and brokerage. Okay, you see there? Agency and brokerage, which we're continuing on from Saturday. And I can't show you the cover here. This book, Texas Real Estate License Exam Prep. And it's based on the Pearson VUE real estate exam, and PSI and Pearson VUE are basically, similar national questions. We used to do PSI here in Texas. Now it's Pearson VUE. Other states are still using PSI. They're basically same national material. Okay, so now this is for Texas individuals. Any questions? No. All right, number 16. Gosh, all these things show up. Okay, number 16, agency and brokerage questions. Okay, for Texas real estate. And anybody watching the replay, we just finished doing the national questions that applies to all 50 states. Now we're going into Texas state questions. And again, this is Wow Lillie Handy coming to you from San Antonio with YouTube Agent Prep. So if this is your first time on my channel, remember to tap that subscribe button, okay? Click the little bell so you're the first to get notified every time I go live or I upload a video. And tap the thumbs up to send me some love if you find this prep class useful. In the course of brokerage practice, licensees share or split fees. Which of the following compensation scenarios would constitute a license law violation? A, sharing or rebating a commission with another sales agent with prior broker and principal approval. B, paying a one-time referral fee to an unlicensed party who is not practicing real estate. C, splitting a commission with an unlicensed party who is performing license activities. Or D, sharing or splitting a commission with a sponsoring broker. So which one would be a violation, constitute a license law violation? All right, so Cindy and Carlos say C, and that is correct. Splitting a commission with an unlicensed party who is performing license activities. Okay, everybody got it right? Yes. So those participating got it right. Cindy and Carlos. Sí, oui, oui. Number 17. Okay, that didn't work. So let's see if I make this wider. Where are we at there? All right, number 17. As a rule, rebates, commissions, and service providers fees in real estate transactions must be transparent. In that context, which of the following scenarios is in compliance with license law? A, without the buyer's consent, a service provider rendering services to the buyer pays the seller's representative a commission for the referral. B, a licensee discloses and obtains consent from her seller client to receive a fee from a property inspector. C, a licensee accepts a service provider fee that is contingent on the client purchasing the provider services. Or D, a licensee who represents the buyer enters a contract with a service provider to perform services for the buyer on behalf of the provider. So which one of the following scenarios is in compliance with license law? Type your answer in the chat. It is not A. So take another attempt. So the answer here is B. So it says, as a rule, rebates, commissions, and service provider fees in real estate transaction must be transparent. In other words, we've got to disclose them beforehand. In that context, which of the following scenarios is in compliance with license law? B, a licensee discloses and obtains consent from her seller client to receive a fee from a property inspector. So typically we would provide a disclosure form that says what provider, that specifies what provider we may get a referral fee. Okay, should a service provider fee should the client use them. Okay, so the answer is B. So we had answer A and D. A says without the buyer's consent, a service provider rendering services to buyer pays the seller's representative a commission. No, because we are hired by our client. They need to know where else we're getting money, because if not, they might say, well, give me a discount for that, right? Because you're asking me to buy that representative or that service provider's home warranty or insurance or something like that, because you're getting a kickback. Well, if we disclose it, it's not a kickback, it's a provider's fee. C says a licensee accepts a service provider fee that is contingent on the client purchasing the provider's services. Okay, so it can't be contingent. So we can recommend it to our client, and that's why we disclose it in advance. It says, hey, we use this company and they're a partner of ours. Should you be looking to buy a home warranty or choose an insurance company, you may consider this company in addition to whoever. Should you use that company, we will get a service provider fee. So, A says without the buyer's consent, and it's usually, the seller, because it says without the buyer's consent, a service provider rendering services to the buyer pays the seller's representative commission for the referral. No, that is a preference there. So they're doing a service for the buyer, but the seller's representative is getting a commission. So, that's not kosher. And C, a licensee accepts a service provider fee contingent on the seller or the client purchasing that provider's services. So sometimes a provider will provide during the listing, will provide a home warranty on the condition that the seller provide a 1-year warranty to the buyer. But that is disclosed. Okay, and the home warranty benefits the seller, because if something goes wrong to the air condition, the appliances, and the water heater, the garbage disposal, anything else, they'll pay a service fee of $85 and get it repaired versus having to pay the cost of replacing the whole appliance. So, one of the companies that I have used does that, but I've purchased the home warranty during the listing. Okay. And so the seller agrees. But I'm not getting a kickback. I'm not getting a service fee paid to me. They're asking you, seller, when you offer the buyer a 1-year warranty, we'll warranty your house for only $85 during the listing. If the listing is 6 months, it can be requested to extend it for a year. And it has saved a lot of my clients money. Okay, $1,000 or more per an HVAC system, a water heater, termite. So it comes in handy. Other companies say if your client purchases a home warranty, you list the appliances that they have, give us the serial numbers or something, and we'll pay you a fee of $75. But it's not under the condition that the seller has to buy it. But so if the seller buys it or the buyer buys it, we're receiving a fee. But we have to make sure that those appliances are working, because they only warranty currently working appliances. And if they break down, then they're repaired by doing a service call and paying 75 or 85 or whatever warranty company fee is. Number 18, which of the following is true regarding referrals? Oh, so let me go back. Carlos said D. Licensee who represent the buyer interested into contract. Yes, no. No. Licensee doesn't enter a contract with a service provider to perform services for the buyer, okay, on behalf of the provider. Okay, it's the buyer's choice. And so we're representing the buyer, okay? We don't enter into a service, into a contract with a service provider. Now, what I did was I pay for, it's a promotion that they do, and they say, hey, we'll warranty the house during the listing period in case something goes wrong. And some of them say under the condition that your client offers 1 year to the buyer. Others don't require that condition. Number 18, which of the following is true regarding referrals? A, the party receiving the referral must be licensed. B, referring parties need not be licensed under any condition. C, the referring party must be licensed regardless of compensation expectation. Or D, the referring party must be licensed if expecting compensation for the referral. So what is 18? So Cindy, which question are you responding to, 17 or 18? Remember to type the question number, y'all. All right, so let's see. Oh, so that was for 17, not 18. Okay. So what are you choosing for number 18? Type your answer in the chat. So what is true regarding referral? So that means one realtor referring a client, okay, to another realtor, maybe in another city, in another state, or they're not able to take care of the client, so they refer them to a realtor to take care of them now. Maybe they're on vacation or they have too many. However, they're expecting to get paid a percentage of the commission. No, it is not B. Remember, commissions have to be paid when we're licensed. So if we're referring and we expect to get paid, we need to be licensed. The answer is D. The referring party must be licensed if expecting, or I should say, when expecting compensation from the referral, which would be, could be 25% of the purchase price of the total commission. So if the realtor at hand is getting 3%, so the referring party will get 25% of that 3, which would be what, like 0.75%. B says referring parties need not be licensed under any condition. So that one is not true because it says under any condition. If they're expecting to get money, they need to be licensed. And there was an A, the party receiving the referral must be licensed. So if the referring party is representing the client, yes, okay, they must be licensed if they're going to represent a client and get paid. So, I mean, the party receive, well, okay, let's go back. It doesn't say if the party receiving is a licensed realtor, okay? What if it's a somebody getting just a referral fee, okay, of $50? Do they have to be licensed? No. So the party receiving the referral must be licensed? No, they might be getting some other type of referral, or they are referring. So because it says the party, so referring parties need not be licensed under any condition. Wrong. Okay, so certain parties do, certain licensees do. The C has the referring party must be licensed regardless of compensation expectations. And then D says the referring party must be licensed if expecting compensation for the referral. So if there's no compensation, then they could be just a referring realtor. However, they don't collect commission. Okay. They could be, well, let's see, what scenario would that be? The referring party must be licensed regardless of compensation. Okay. So let's say that's a friend that's referring someone. So you might give them a gift of $50. Okay. However, it's got to be in a gift certificate. The other one, so they are receiving, right, a gift. D says the referring party must be licensed if they're getting money, okay, expecting compensation for the referral. Compensation as not a gift, but as money. Today's not your day. Yeah, I can understand. Sometimes we have a bad day. Maybe the weather is impacting. But we have to remember that my pastor in Oregon, one of the elders used to say, Lillie, the sun always shines above the clouds. However, when it wasn't shining right on me, I didn't think so, right? And I would get kind of depressed in Oregon. And because it gets really gloomy like it's been today, and it can be gloomy for days and days and days. However, we're supposed to think that the sun is shining in us, right? The sun shines in us. Yet the saying is sun shines above the clouds always, right? Just the clouds hide the sun. Okay, so did we get that? So A, the party receiving the referral must be licensed. No, depends what kind of referral it is. It doesn't say, they're going to get compensated, right? It doesn't specify. The key word is compensation, okay? On C and D, it's compensation. C says regardless of compensation expectations, referring party must be licensed. No. D says must be licensed if expecting compensation for the referral. Number 19, which of the following would be categorized as an unlicensed activity not requiring a license? A, developing a mailing campaign for a new licensee. B, responding to phone inquiries regarding the condition of an open house listing. C, confirming a listing address on the phone. Or D, assimilating recently sold properties into a price strategy for a builder. So which one would be categorized as unlicensed activity, not requiring a license, that an assistant, could do? Which one would that be? Okay, the answer here is C, confirming a listing address on the phone. There's no discussion about a property, okay, any details about it. So if they're calling about a property, they just want the address, we can confirm that. If they want us to send the MLS listing, okay, that is public information. That's on the MLS. It's on all the social media. Well, not all social media, unless somebody posts it, right? It's on at least 200 some odd websites that have to do with real estate. So yes, the answer is C. If they're developing a mailing campaign, you need a license. Once the campaign is developed with our CRM, right, our contact resource management, then we as realtors need to do that as a licensee, because we're dealing with properties that areas that we're familiar with. Once we develop it, then we can have the assistant sent out, okay? The emails, or the program automatically does them. The B, responding to phone inquiries regarding the condition of an open house listing. Okay, we're talking in detail about the property, condition of it. The last one, assimilating recently sold properties into a price strategy for a builder. Yeah, that requires definitely a license. So how are you going to strategize something? A realtor that may have, a assistant that has been working for a realtor for a long, long time may get to understand the market. However, that is a licensee responsibility, right? Because they're giving that to the builder or to a potential principal. So what are we on? 20. Okay, pardon me. Okay, it's 14. Okay, I did type it in both places. So very good, C. All right, 20. Which of the following would not be classified as an unlicensed activity? Which of the following would positively be defined as a licensed activity? So which of the following would not be classified as an unlicensed activity, meaning it is a licensed activity? A, supervising a new licensee. B, inputting data on a new listing into MLS. C, scheduling and confirming showing appointments. Or D, providing mortgage interest rates of area banks to a consumer. So which one would definitely be a license activity? Type your answer in the chat. Come on, come on. So how do you all like this chilly, rainy, drizzly, gray weather? It felt good, cool weather, right? As long as it doesn't stay gray for too many days. Yes, the answer is A. Supervising a new licensee. Okay, that requires someone being licensed. That is a license activity. More than likely, it is a broker. Okay, a broker supervisor. Or a team leader, a mega agent that has a team, to where the licensee pays them a percentage of the production because they give them leads from a program that they pay lots of money for. Number 21, which of the following statements is true regarding the seller's disclosures of property condition document? Seller's disclosures, property condition. So we typically it's called the seller's disclosures notice, where a seller has to disclose anything that they know, anything and everything that they know about the property that's functioning or not functioning, or what it includes or doesn't include. A, so which one is true? A, it is to be completed and given to a buyer at the seller's option and discretion. B, it must be completed on or before the effective date of a binding purchase agreement. C, licensees and firms may design their own form as there is no promulgated or suggested form provided by TREC. Or D, if a seller is not aware of a particular property condition items, he or she must have such items inspected for workability. All right, so far we have a B. B is in boy. or B as in burro in Spanish? Yes, the answer is B. It must be completed on or before the effective date of a binding purchase agreement. So what is a binding purchase agreement? When a buyer and a seller come to an agreement and sign a purchase and sale agreement, contract. And so the seller's property condition or seller's disclosure should be completed prior to that because it needs to be provided to the buyer on the residence that they occupy or that they have as an investment or they inherited it. So there are certain conditions to where a seller's property condition or seller's property disclosures, a seller's disclosure notice is not required. If you're the executor, if you're a trustee, if you're the administrator, or if it's a tax sale or for a foreclosure sale at the courthouse, okay, or lenders, that they do not require a seller's disclosure notice because they haven't been at the property occupying it. So the answer is B. Must be completed on or before the effective date of a binding purchase agreement. Now, if for some reason it wasn't completed or seller didn't provide it, they can provide it during the option period and sometime during the closing process, if it's 30 days, and the buyer will have 7 days after receipt to decide whether to stay in or out of the transaction and get their earnest money back. Number 22. Some exceptions exist to the rules for completing the seller's property condition report. Which of the following is not such an exception? So I mentioned just some exceptions right now. A father transfers the property to his daughter. B, the property is used for residential purposes. C, the property is new and has not been owned before. D, the transaction is a foreclosure sale. So which one is not an exception? So there are exceptions to the exceptions, okay? So which one is not an exception to the rules of having to complete a seller's property condition form on an owner-occupied property? A, B, or D? Father transfers the property to his daughter. Does he have to complete it? The property is used for residential purposes. Does that have to be completed under that condition? C, the property is new and has not been owned before. Does it require to have one completed? Or D, the transaction is a foreclosure sale. Yes, the answer is B. The property is used for residential purposes. Okay, so which one is not an exception? So all the others are an exception because if the father transferred the property to his daughter, he no longer lives on the property, he no longer owns it. So the owner has to do it. If the property is new and not owned, so nobody has lived in it, right? It's not pre-owned. So the 1 to 4 contract is a resale contract. It's been lived in. If it's never been lived in, then it's considered new construction. A transaction in a foreclosure sale. So that's a bank selling a property. They don't need to do it. They're not required to do so because they don't know the condition of it. I mean, yes, they're going to send somebody over there, but they haven't been there long enough to know everything that's going on with the property or the majority of the pertinent facts about the home that we can be aware of. All right, number 23. A seller delivers the seller's property condition disclosure to the buyer after the deadline. What is the consequence? A, the licensee has violated license law. B, the seller's contract is nullified. C, the buyer may rescind the contract within 7 days following receipt of the disclosure. Or D, the buyer can compel the seller to repair any undisclosed defects. So I pretty much stated the answer for this one when discussing the prior question. So I say A, B, C, or D. Type your answer in the chat. Wow, there's a major delay on YouTube right now. Woo! It's only showing number 18 and we're on number 23. Yes, the answer is C. The buyer may rescind the contract within 7 days following receipt of the disclosure, right? That's what I commented on the prior question, that if it wasn't completed prior to a contract, then the seller can complete it, provide it to the buyer, and the buyer has 7 days in which to stay or not make a decision, okay? All right. So we are going to call it a day there. Well, let's do, I guess, 2 more questions and we'll finish this test. It has 25 questions and we started with number 16. So we would do 10 questions. Okay. Probably not going to show. Okay, so I'll have to go smaller. Come on, 24, show on one page. All right, I gotta go smaller, smaller. Okay, number 24. I need to take a sip, man. I've been talking for 2 hours. All right, number 24. A homeowner resides in a new subdivision managed by a homeowners association, HOA. What obligation, if any, does this fact create whenever the owner decides to sell? A, the owner must advise any buyer of the managing entity and associated fees prior to closing. B, the owner must advise the buyer of all homeowner obligations and face a 30-day exposure to contract rescission. C, the licensee must disclose the association's existence or face disciplinary action. Or D, the owner must disclose the existence of the association and all obligations accompanying membership. So if somebody lives on a home that has an HOA, who has to disclose what? Whew, I'm hot. All right, Miss Cindy's on the ball. You ready for the state exam? Number 24D, correct. The owner must disclose the existence of the association and all obligations accompanying membership. Very good, Miss Cindy. Hey, you can forget the national now, right? Because you already passed the national. All you have to do is pass the state. You'll learn all that other stuff out in the field. Right now, you're doing great on the state. Okay, number 25. Last question of the evening. In addition to obligations regarding property condition and homeowners association, if a selling homeowner resides on a property abutting tidal water, he or she must, okay, so they are close to, what, tidal waves, ocean waves, tidal water. A, disclose the mean high and low tide levels in a letter signed by all principals. B, Disclose the changeability of the property's boundaries owing to erosion. C, disclose the boundary line out into the water since the waterway is navigable. Or D, provide a history of all landfills occurring over the prior 10 years. Wow. So abiding tidal water, like tidal wave. So would it be navigable? Well, it could be if you're on a ski jet or you're in a canoe, probably not. So it just depends, right? You could be on a boat. So which would it be? A, B, C, or D? So A, B, and C says disclose. One says the mean high and low tide. Disclose the changeability of property boundaries owing to erosion. C, disclose the boundary line out into the water since the waterway is navigable. Or D, provide a history of all landfills occurring over the prior 10 years. So what if you didn't own it for 10 years? Type your answer in the chat. You've been on a roll, Miss Cindy. Now, so the answer is B. Disclose the changeability of the property's boundaries owing to erosion. So if you've got tidal water going in and out, and over the years, it can start eroding some of the soil, right? So that can be disclosed. Let's see how they say it. It says coastal property homeowners are required to disclose to buyers that the property's boundaries can fluctuate due to tidal erosion, right? Effects. Importantly, such changes can cause encroachments onto public property. Sellers must use sale contract form SCF number 34-4 to complete the disclosure. So anyone living by coastal property. Okay, there are extra forms that are completed. C says disclose the boundary line out into the water. Waterway is navigable. So that's usually like in rivers. Riparian rights, right? An ocean, coastal would be considered, right? What, littoral? Because it's not moving, it's coming in and out, tidal waves, right? So when you have a river or a creek or something like that, then the codes of the area determine, how far in. Sometimes it goes to the middle, of the creek, the middle of the river, if it's a narrow river. So it depends on the zoning, okay, or the riparian rights in that area. Each area is going to have their own. All right. So any other questions? So you did really good. 9 out of 10. I believe you got 9 right out of 10, if I kept track correctly. So remember to study lots of questions, okay? Repeat them. For you, it's basically Texas that you're working on, and hopefully, as my thumbnail says, what did I put on the thumbnail today? Easy exam. Ask, believe, and receive an easy exam. I have heard students say they get easy exams. So it does happen. And of course, the more you study and know the vocabulary, they might all be easy. It's when it gets difficult, it's when they throw out questions that you're like, oh my God, I don't remember ever studying that. Where the heck did that come from? Well, they want us to understand the material, think about it, come with common sense. And if you don't get it right, hey, don't be so hard on yourself. And if you have deadlines, like we had on Saturday, we had Kaida, who her year was expiring in Sunday, and she studied and studied, and her prep book, she mentioned that it was the one that she bought was from Kaplan, and whatever she had from the course that she took, and watched videos and passed it on the first time. So it is doable to pass on the first time. It takes good preparation, good scheduling, consistency, dedication, commitment to put it on your calendar, put it on a schedule, and keep your phones away so there are no alerts, no rings, nothing that will distract you from wanting to look at the phone. Okay. So I usually put mine on airplane mode, because if it's on do not disturb, certain phones like the iPhone, it still vibrates. That bothers me. Okay. So I put it on airplane mode. My other phone, the Android, yeah, I can put it on, do not disturb. And it's actually do not disturb, just reduce the volume and the signal to like if it's on airplane mode, but it's not, so that I can use it while I'm in class and I can look at what it looks like online on Facebook on the phone. Okay. Any questions? If not, you know what you've got to do in order to pass that exam, right? And shoot to getting 100 on the questions that you study. And save your money until you start your business, because you're going to need it then. And realize that you could start making money the first month. Okay, when I started because I had a rental referral before I even started the business. So I referred it to another realtor. And then when I got my license, it closed once I got my license. So he gave me 50%. He paid me 50%, right? And so if no further questions, until next time, catch you later. Bye. Next time will be Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you all. Yes, have an awesome night. Enjoy the cool evening. See you Wednesday. So when are you taking your exam, Cindy? Are you going to take it before the year end? Next week is Thanksgiving, right? Yeah, next week is Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. Good night. So all of you that were on YouTube, remember to give me a thumbs up. I didn't check to see how many thumbs up I've got. A lot of you already left because you're not in the national. I only have 2 thumbs up. And there's several of you that are here on YouTube. Come on, go give me a thumbs up. Send me some love. And just for y'all, I am going to start doing tutoring and charging for that to give private. So can do it on Zoom, or anybody that's here in San Antonio. I would do it in person for one person at a $75 per hour. And then I'm going to eventually create a site to where I can offer certain materials, okay, per month or per year that you will have access to. Okay, catch you later. Have a good night.